Narayana. Salutations to Parabrahma Tattva. Salutations to the Lord, Lord in all forms. Salutations to the Guru Tattva, Guru Parampara, and they in all forms, including our own Swaguru. Every day, one remembrance of them. Why one? More than one, as many times as possible. Whenever we can find time, freed from other obligations, sadhanas, and extending prayerful salutations always helps us only. Then salutations to Shruti Mata in the form of Shruti Smriti Purana Itihasa. It should be our every days as many times as possible practice at this stage of our evolution where we are trying to be regular not only in our studies but want to understand and proceed progress further. Once we establish in the higher sadhanas, then with minimum invocation only the things will happen because the gurus themselves start taking us into confidence. But right now we have to be in their good books by our being sincere and by our being regular in our prayers. So thus you two are welcomed and saluted, the sadhaka in you, the jignasu in you, the mumukshu most importantly. And a sadhaka doing some sadhanas goes on, everybody does something. Even once in a while being to some Mahatma, some master, some gurus, to listen to Shastra is okay, jignasu to hote hi hai. If not Tivra at one level, once in a while when the mind is in Sattva Guna, feel like being a jignasu. So we study something at home, we listen. More important than these two is being a mumukshu. In that also, everyone is a mumukshu every moment to be freed from the that moment's clutches or bondages. But the real mumukshuta with the understanding that what binds truly, finally, subtly. And from that wanting to get liberated, that mokshuta understood, and as tivra it is, so will be the sadhanas, etc. in us. So to you all, such great salutations. Welcome. Thank you again for giving this chance that we are trying to study our Shastras, mainly the Upanishads, Yoga Darshanams, and our Purana Itihasas. Now, in world we see a 2 minutes thought today. You know, why is grahasthas always out of their salary? They save some time if they have the daughters for their marriage. If they are in a small rented house for their own, making up own house. If they don't have transport for the sake of it, or if they want to give higher education to their children, then they are wise to spare some amount for it. That's how the middle class people, little lower, higher, they are always in that mood. Very interesting to see, and they really achieve also. So too, there are otherwise people are pakka samsaris. Whatever the resources they have, they spare for the bhoga, for the indulgence enjoyment. So to others, they use talents either for serving the world or to trouble the world for their selfishnesses. All these examples are told only to make ourselves also understand that in our one day's schedule, few hours minimum will be required. We have to start exclusively sparing only for the sadhana. Not that we are not doing, but if at all any erraticness is there in that, avoiding it, exclusively sparing those specified hours only for sadhana. minimum 2, maximum 4. Hosaketu to begin with. In that time is not given to anything else, anybody else, apart from our classes here. Classes are the continuous feeding, continuous charging, continuously putting us on the path by reminding us that we have come for this, we have to achieve this, and in the achievement of this alone, there is fulfillment. To remind us these classes are there. But that theory won't help, no? So, for being practical, some hours we have to spare where we are not disturbed by anyone much. We are not need to go anywhere to do any duties or obligations. Those timings we can spare. Preferably, they are always in the morning hours. Luckily, in Kali Yuga, all our Kumbhakarnas, including the women nowadays, we won't get up before 7 or 8. Those morning hours of 4 to 6, 7, whatever, convenient to each one, or night 9 to 10:30, 11, जो भी है. दिन में if somebody can spare, if they are retired, the time between 1 to 3 or 3 to 5, 2, 3 hours we have to. Okay, first point in life for a substantial spiritual doings and growings. Second is what? Remember in life continuously the Shreya Breya come, as we have studied exhaustively in Katha Upanishad. You know, we have to go deeper in knowing how the prayer binds us. Consequently, we have to go very deeper in understanding how much our with sacrifice or forcefully we need to adopt Shreyas. When you adopt it, how in its long run it is going to help us. If the deeper analysis and understanding, if we can have, that happens when we keep our future in mind, and also when we know the present, whatever I am, there is because of my past. So when these things are known, and if I conscious, responsible, for my bright, glorious future. Not like an arrogant fellow, कौन देखेगा future पता नहीं, फिलहाल let me enjoy. That is absolutely unacceptable way of intelligent human life, isn't it? You can't say that whatever the future I'll face it, but in the present I will do all the nonsense. Then to that type of murkha vyakti, we cannot talk. We can never discuss with them. We will be an utter failure because he is like that. But the one who is available for some understanding, some wisdom, some advice, some knowledge, for them, that how the present prayers is going to drown us into future samsara, dukkha, etc. This much if we can understand, it helps us to slowly, steadily reduce that involvement in the prayers. This is the only way. Prayers is all the outer enjoyments with the upadhis. In the same way, the Shreyas of all our spiritual sadhanas, isn't it? Whatever they are at our own level as understood by us. And if we are wise, sequentially we know. In that sequentially also, for the entire life, the plan is made. And that whole entire life's plan alone is executed every day. Like in any yoga asanas. It's not erratic that any asana you start anytime. ऐसा नहीं होता हो. Very consciously, step by step, they teach us the asanas. Each of them have that the sequence. That then only the whole body is every part is scattered and properly balanced, isn't it? First, we are made to do the Ustrasanam. First, we are made to do the Paschimottanasana. Paschimottana. Then we go for the Ustrasanam. Then we go for the what do you call Dhanurasanam. Then we go for the Matsyasana. Then we go for the Sarvangasana, then the Halasana. This is one sequence. Then lastly, the Shirshasana. One way of, depending on the person, his weight or body's position, etc. Adding in between, The ones who is capable last before the Shavasana, they do the Mayuras. In aerobics, anaerobics also, how they start with simple jumping, jogging, then with the hands, then the twisting, the turnings, the bendings, everything done systematically, isn't it? While driving car, nobody puts the gear 5 first suddenly. No, one, two, three, four. So too while stopping, 5 से 0 में नहीं आते न्यूट्रल में. You slowly 4, 3, 2, 1 and that way. Even in taking the food, you don't start with buttermilk straight away. You start with the first one. I know the dal say, then sabji say, then depending on your place, north, south. Isn't it? In making a house also. It is called as krama, avikrama. Making a house, there is a first basement, pillar, slab, all of that. So to in खेती बाड़ी करने में भी अम्मा, the plowing, weeding off, weeding away, then putting the seeds, ये सब system होता है. So to in medication, in operation, in launching a rocket, everything in the diplomatic discussions between states or countries, हर जगह. Even your body also, everything in a rhythm it is. So too, spiritual sadhana has to be rhythmatic. So the whole life, what I have to conquer or master. One, two, three, four, five, six. Same those six things are done every day in those 2 or 3 hours. And that's what actually is said in our Yoga Darshana. Perfect it is for us guidance. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Exactly, if we follow that, done. Or as said in our Vedanta, Viveka, every day we have to do for 5 minutes. Vairagya, every day we should deepen our Vairagya feeling. Then some japa sadhana we have to do every day for the control of the mind, Shama. Then we have to be more alert not to allow the senses to disturb us, called Dhamma. Then we have to ensure that beautiful feeling in us that we are at ease with ourselves without the need of any external support. That's called Uparati. Every day we have to do. Every day Titiksha. Every day Shraddha. Every day little of that Samadhanam. Then Mumukshutvam. Every day we have to ensure for some time. Then as we do it, every day Shravanam, Maranam, Dhyanam. So this is called the Shreya Marga. So deeply we must know consequentially how the prayers binds us, strengthens the bondage. That is what is said in every of the Shastra what we study. No, they are in Sanskrit. Translate them into in your own language. Language is not important. Have you got the point, the thought, the knowledge, the idea, the guidance? In the same way, that's what they say when they give all the falashrutis, when the spiritual things are done. These are the future consequences because future is built on the edifice of the present, on the basis of the present. Every present moment we are getting result of the past also. We are paving the way for our future. So those 2 3 hours what we have spared in that doing this vicharana between Preya and Shreya, we have to keep on first understanding deeply the consequences of both of them from the core of the heart. You know, the seeker matured, seeker non-matured. The difference is this only. A non-matured one is very superficial. Any number of classes he listens any at any age of whatever. I know. Very, very superficial he is, an immature listener or sadhaka. Irrespective of the age. A person can be very young, but very matured in his understanding if he goes very deep into every aspect, not superficial, but into the depth of it. Either it's knowledge aspect or it's a practice aspect. So we have to know the deeper meanings as well as consequences, and then from the heart, deeply from the core of the heart, we have to select the Shreyas, just like the Nachiketa has done. That is why Outside, how many temptations were given to him, seen by the sense organs? Isn't it? But then, because he is settled in his the core of the heart, that I want Shreyas, not prayers, he could effortlessly, once and once for all, reject everything which is prayers. So this particular story, how many times we quoted, but how many times personally in our own house, when we were sitting for meditation or anything, took this story and started thinking on that. Did we ever try? Did we ever feel the feeling of congratulations to Nachiketa for his great achievement? Then did we ever feel that here I should also be like that? Then the thinking starts, no? Ki how could he do that? Reject all the outer things for the sake of that truth or the self. That means, is that the self so glorious? Perhaps because the story continued, it never happened this way. That the Nachiketa was given the Shreyas and he was not satisfied, he threw it away. Again came back to Yamaraj. Yeah, you promised me to give all the prayers, now give me back. ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ ना story में. That means his decision that Shreyas is any day greater than prayers is very clear. So it was from his depth of the heart. Therefore, in giving up prayer, unhesitated. In taking up and asking of Shreyas, no hesitation. Second thing is this one, today's thought. First one is spare time. Second is become deeper in the understanding about the consequences of prayers and Shreyas. Accordingly, take decisions and steps. Third one is what? Very interesting. As much tempting is this prayers, as much powerful it is to influence us, as much attacking aggressive it is. If we counter attack it, okay, not aggressively only all the time, even intelligently, it just cows down. Just like the Pakistan. Just imagine 8 9 years back, how arrogant they were, how against our country. You know, उल्टा चोर कोतवाल को डांटे कहते ना. They used to talk against our country everywhere. And our Beoku government, as always it was, they never had any aggressive plans to counter it. We are the victims all the time, cross-border terrorism. And in the international community, we are proven as to be at guilt or wrong. And they were all getting support. Stupid America supports them, Britain supports them, every nonsense country, including anyway Muslim countries. Now, when we took it to counter them, no, last 9 8 years, whole world came to know this is a place of production of terrorists. Everybody denied help. अब देखो उसका हालत क्या हो गया. Then towards India also, they have become mild, as well as even the praja, the janta also. From the aggressive negative feeling to slowly they started appreciating our growth. They may not like or so because that fanatic religious countries are always like that. We don't expect also, we don't worry as long as they're not harmful to us. But anyway, right from that surgical strikes and all counter attacks when we do quite see that China border 5 years, 4 years back, LAC, how much tension we had, ki, so much of things, infrastructures they are making and all. अरे हमने भी बना दिया और चुप हो गए. And how many lakhs crores spent in last 9 years in this Leh, Ladakh, all that regions, countering anything in life, especially the bad, negative, inner, becomes very aggressive, active only when we, as long as we don't counter it. Why? Because that all is Jada. We are Chaitanya Swarupa. In fact, it is we who are supporting it. Therefore, they were becoming strong or aggressive or influential. Always the ball is in our court. We can serve it well. We are only serving it outside and getting 0 points. Just like the children. It is we who give them undue value, importance, pampering, and attachment. Then they become such a terrible fellows that you can't now. as if. But never ever it can't be. If you have a little Viveka Vairagya and kick them, everything sits down. Isn't it? Everything settles down. Everywhere it is so. प्रेय मार्ग को ना अटैक करके जीतना भी कभी कभी सीखना. Generally, this thought doesn't come. We only give importance value to them. And like the entire country's negative politicians unnecessarily give importance to the minorities and all. What's the need? पड़े रहने दो उधर उनको. Yes, they are human beings, no doubt. Right? But for the sake of them, the majority Hindus were always neglected. What a pity and sad. And Murakata, if they have supported Hinduism with the name that we are and pro-Hindu, never ever they would have got defeated. Never ever they would have got the negative waves all the time, which we send now to them. But वो मूर्ख होते हैं वैसे. In the same way, it is we who have to learn the art of whatever prayers to devalue that, whatever the Shreyas, to value it. Isn't it? Like in India now happening. What is positive, good, that is being valued and it is being brought out. What a colossal work is happening. It's all not an ordinary thing from last 10 years. You have to have a huge, large heart coming out of the personal fanaticism to recognize the good that is happening. And good. In the same way, Shreyas let us bring out in our life more than prayers, not only in these 3 hours selected, which are meant for the deep sadhanas, even otherwise throughout the day. And the feelings that I am weak and the feelings of the variety of depressions or agitations or frustrations or the feelings of inabilities, they are all the inner enemies. And even regrets or guilts of anything done past, bad things. How does it matter? In the flow of time, everybody has done bad sometime or the other. So it happened in our life too, but that's not the end of it. But the people are blaming, insulting, they remember it. That is their murkhata. I have learned from it, that from that mistake. Now I will be aggressive, isn't it? In that way, monitoring our mind and its moods, whether they are encouraging or discouraging, deleting discouraging ones, encouraging the encouraging ones, encouraged by them, aggressively we have to be doing the Shreyas, equally aggressively we have to suppress and eliminate the prayers from our life for a true doing of spiritual sadhana, leading to the true growth of spiritual evolution. Let us be so by God's grace. Om, Om, Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. ओम शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. ओम भवयेव भवानिति मे नितरां समजायत चेतसि कौतुकिता मम वारय मोहमहाजलधिं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ओम ब्रह्मानंदं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. ऐतरेयोपनिषदः आचार्येभ्यो नमः. श्री वेदव्यास महर्षये नमः. श्री ऐतरेय महर्षये नमः. श्री आद्यशंकर महर्षये नमः. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव अनुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः साधनानां मुक्तिमार्गाणां पुनरुत्थानजागरणविश्वव्याप्तिद्वारा विश्व आध्यात्मिकप्रगतिद्वारा विश्व एकता कल्याणशान्ति पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये निश्चित अस्माकं सह सर्वेषां सेवकानां पूर्णायुरारोग्यादि प्राप्तिद्वारा बाह्याभ्यन्तरशत्रुविघ्ननिर्मूलनद्वारा धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये दिग्विजयार्थम् अनेकशास्त्राणाम् अध्ययनमध्ये ऋग्वेदान्तर्गतम् ऐतरेय उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्यशङ्करभाष्यसमेत अध्ययन साधना वयं सर्वे प्रयत्नं करिष्यामहे। ॐ मनस्तापतमः यस्य पादनखच्चट शरदिन्दुनिभाभाति तं वन्दे नीलचिन्मणिम्। ॐ अथ श्रीऋग्वेदान्तर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषद् शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्ददामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवत्ववतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। पारायणम् प्रथमोऽध्यायः प्रथमः खण्डः। ॐ आत्मा वा इदमेक एवाग्र आसीत् नान्यत् किञ्चन मिषत् स ईक्षत लोकान्नुसृजा इति स इमान् लोकान् असृजत अम्भो मरीचिर्मरम् आपः अधः अम्बः परेण दिवं द्यौः प्रतिष्ठा अन्तरिक्षं मरीचयः पृथ्वी मरः या अधस्तात् ता आपः स ईक्षते मेनु लोका लोकपालान्नुसृजा इति सः अद्भ्यः एव पुरुषं समुद्धृत्य अमूर्छयत् तमभ्यदभत तस्यावितप्तस्य मुखं निरविद्यत यथा अंडं मुखाद् वाग् वाचः अग्निः नासिके निरभिद्येतां नासिकाभ्यां प्राणः प्राणाद् वायुः अक्षिणी निरभिद्येताम् अक्षिभ्यां चक्षुः चक्षुषः आदित्यः कर्णौ निरभिद्येतां कर्णाभ्यां श्रोत्रं श्रोत्रात् दिशः त्वं निरभिद्यत त्वचो लोमानि लोमभ्यः ओषधिवनस्पतयः हृदयं निरभिद्यत हृदयात् मनसः मनः मनसः चन्द्रमाः नाभिर्निरभिद्यत नाभ्यापानः अपानान् मृत्युः शिश्नं निरभिद्यत शिश्नात् रेतः रेतस आपः। Friends, just like I want to become a driver. So learning driving, immediately taking that license, entering into driving job, regularly doing. In a short span of time, I become the master of it. I own my livelihood. So I want to be electrician. So learn the electrical all works. Start from the day one only working, adding our talents or whatever required. Then within few months only I become expert in being electrician. If I add to that the other things of even electrical equipments repair or replacements, whatever repairs or what you say, adding the parts or anything, फटाफट हो जाता है. Any work, even if I am selling vegetables in a shop market, तो if I am aggressive right from the day one, सुबह 4 जाके ले आओ सब्जी ताज़ा लगा दो रेडी में भेजो, what is beautiful. In the same way, when we study the Upanishads, and that Upanishad Adhyayana Kala itself, fully when we are involved in that, in by hearting the mantras or in knowing the meaning of every word and sentence, and the sadhana indicated in that by Bhashyakara, and try doing them, then the Upanishad remains with us, helps us. With the help of it, we really can do and grow in sadhana. If these second, third steps are not done, then the first thing of once in a while being into the class, it never helps us. कोई भी चीज में perfection के लिए we have to be involved in it aggressively, fully, continuously, isn't it? So every day, imagine half an hour if you had spent in study of Aitareya after the class, we would have understood every paragraph what it was teaching us, sadhana indicated in it. Sadhana bhi karte hote to by no mastery. So at least now we can, I think like that and add or give more time for our own homework and the required doings of sadhanas. Now we are into the Tritiya Khanda, Adhyaya. In that, the Ubodghatam for the first mantram, Avatarika is exhaustively, beautifully studied. Now the summary of that is the Adhunatana Mumukshavaha, Adhunatana Jignasavaha, Adhunatana Viraginaha. Those who want to have moksha, those who got the Vairagya from Anitya Sadhya Sadhana Rupi Samsara. Isn't it? These are all technical words, nothing difficult in understanding them in our own language. So, sadhya sadhana, sadhana being anitya, sadhya also anitya. We don't want that. We want nitya vastu. This sadhya sadhana, how much ever we are involving in him, they are temporarily as if giving us the liberation and happiness, but within few minutes again there is only misery and bondage. Therefore, we want permanent liberation. Therefore, they are mumukshus. And then they are little informed, not very, very ignorant, etc. They know the Vamadeva Rishi. They know the Guru Parampara. They also know vaguely that the Upanishad is the one which tells about the Brahma Vidya. Okay, so Upanishadic Brahma Vidya given in the Guru Parampara, tested by Vamadeva. Something is there by which what we want now is being already gained by those rishis and munis. Now let us become particular to think about it, plan about it. Thus, a group of the Adhanadana Mumukshavati assembled. In that assembly, Koyam Atma, who is that Atma, was the discussion. This is what the introduction. Then the Mantrocharana. Then to that, Bhashyakara started beautifully explaining. So chant the mantra once. Koyamatmeti vayamupasmahe katarahasa atma yena va pashyati yena va shrunoti yena va gandhan ajighrati yena va vacham vyakaroti yena va swadu cha vijanati. In this first mantra. So the point is raised, everybody's opinions are gathered. Point raised is which is the Atman, which Vamadevji done the Upasana and got moksha. Therefore, if we know that, we also can do the Upasana of it and we also can get moksha. What is it? Then some wise people were there in them who have little intelligently inquired and came to know two Atmas. Therefore, among these two, which is the one to be identified with? The identification is the meaning of the word upasana here. And out of these two, with which we have to identify, so that we also get moksha. Which is the one with which that Vamadevji might have got identified with. Isn't it? So, in this discussion, in you and I also, while studying this, once becoming introverted, necessarily, then we should also feel in us. The very obviously seen oneself, very no deeply hidden other self. Now, this self's doings and gainings, we already know the perfect samsara. But this other one now. Let us do the upasana of it. This is the summary of this entire Upanishad. Like any Upanishad, every Upanishad takes us beyond the Upadhyukta Jiva to the Nirupadhikam Brahman. In this Upanishad, this is how the story of all of them sitting and discussing. So, the Bhashya, we have seen some of it. Let us do it. Yam Atmanam Ayam Atma iti Sakshat Vayam Upasmahe. See, that self which we have to actually directly to do the Upasana, that this self is me. Like the 2-3 cars are there in the showroom. So, which is the car with which I should identify that I am going to buy it? It's going to be my car. Don't we do that little of discussion either by the type of the car depending on budget, or the type is decided, now the color of the car. Okay, करते हैं कि नहीं? When we go to clothes shopping also, ornaments also, we always do two or three final selections, and among them again the color, the combination, the occasion, the cost, कौन सा दोनों में which is good, suitable to me. Here also, कि यम आत्मानम, that self, I am आत्मा इति, कि ये मैं हूँ, साक्षात we, वयम उपासमहे, we should do the upasana. कहा सा आत्मा इति, है ना? यम च आत्मानम अयम आत्मा इति साक्षात उपासीनः वामदेवः अमृतः समभवत्. Understand that. That see, means in this what we see, we are not Amrita, we are bound. Vamadeva is Amrita, is liberated. He is doing the Atma Upasana, we are doing the Atma Upasana. He has done. So here the question can be like this: which is the Atma which I am doing the Upasana, that I am that, I am that, and therefore I am bound? What is that Atma which Vamadeva did the Upasana, I am that, and then he got Amritam? He is liberated, we are bound. Both are doing Atma Upasana. If his Atma is one, it should either be bound or liberated. In him it is liberated, in me, in us it is bound. Means what? Therefore, there is the possibility of two selves there. One is pseudo, but then if you evaluate, it appears to be real to the extent of binding us. Later on, it will be realized as pseudo when the real Atma Upasana is done and it is recognized. So, कौन सा है दोनों में? So, yam cha atmanam, that self, ayam atma iti sakshad upasina Vamadeva, the one Ramadeva who has done the upasana of identifying with that Atman, that's the meaning of the word Sakshat, Amritaha Samabhavat, that he has become immortal. Now, this is the difference between the outer sciences and inner spirituality. In all the outer sciences, the object or subject of inquiry is the object only. Subject of inquiry is the objective world. In spirituality, the subject matter of inquiry is not the objective world, but the subject who is contacting the world and who continuously feeling inside that feeling of aham 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 aham. Your koyam atma. Who is this? And always please remember the Vedantic basic is without the clear understanding of the self at the very first instance or step, anything we try to do in the not self is all going to trouble us only, bind us only. Isn't it? In every profession it is so. I professionally am a doctor. I know I'm doctor. With that identity and knowledge only, I am on the operation table doing operation for the patient. Like in every of the professions, identity is the one after which they work. That's why the ID cards and all of them. In spirituality also at a higher level, first ascertaining who am I is the thing. Without exactly knowing who am I. At the lower level of spirituality is also the dharma we cannot do, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga sadhanas we can't do. We should decide who am I. Okay, little deeper, higher level में क्या है? This is what it is. कोयम आत्मा, है ना? Doing the upasana of whom means identifying with whom. Vamadeva Rishi Amrita Samabhavat. Amrita Samabhavat means he has transcended the Mrityu. That means his jignasa become purta, his mumuksha become purta, his freedom from the samsara also became complete. वामदेव जी का कौन सा है? हाँ? ये उपासिनः वामदेवः अमृतः समभवत्. Now listen. Tam eva vayam upasmahe. We also do the upasana of him only. But who is he? Konu khalu saha atma. Who is that Atman? है ना, इट्स एन ऑब्जेक्ट होता तो ऐसे सामने ले आकर खड़ा कर देते. कोई बंदा होता तो ये है वो बंदा करके कटघरी में यू कैन पुट हिम. Isn't it? This is so simple and so difficult, so near and so far. And a self is subject, it can never be the object. So simple understanding. And then another simple understanding is what? When the object and objectification is dropped, the subject and subjective realization happens. Isn't it? As far as the understanding is concerned, as easy, as simple as they are. First, let us learn it. Then it takes its own time. We have to keep on giving it. In doing dropping the objective and catching the subjective. That's simple. लगे रहे ना इस पे. Shastras, their explanation, when we are taught by the correct acharyas and gurus, they give on guidance to us continuously. Encouragement, guidance, support वो देते रहते. So, what Atman we are experiencing and bound, and what is an Atman having done the Upasana and experienced, Vamadeva became realized. Let us know that Atman, which Vamadeva did Upasana, identified and got Amrita, we will do that also. That only. This is called learning from Guru Parampara. And spirituality, Guru Parampara say, even the way of living life also from our ancient elders, how they conducted. Especially we have that benefit because we have Shastras, we have great past. We all had the great elders in the past, not like the other cultures, etc., which have just begun, they don't have any past. We have past, we have Ramas, we have Krishnas, we have Rishis, Munis. So they lived a decent life. So when we look back to them and learn from them, we can make our life fulfilled that way. Now, evam, in this way, I am doing the second para. Jignasa purvam, with the jignasa in the heart. This is also very important. Jignasa is jnatumicha. In the jnatumicha, very clear. The three things. One thing, I am identifying with some Atma, but that's not giving satisfaction or moksha. First. Second, there is Vamdevaji, who is identified as Atma and he became Amrita. Most important third one is what? I want to do the Upasana and identification of that Atman so that I also get Amrita. Here, pure selfishness without any stink of selfishness in it. Point one. Point two is what? It is a jignasa, jnatum ichcha. Be attentive. There is no vada, there is no vivada, there is no vitanda, there is no tarka, there is no jalpa, there is no attitude of proving that I know better than you, so I will defeat you. If you defeat me, I will just do something to take the revenge. Like in any of the meetings worldly related, ऐसा ही discussion attitudes होते हैं. You have to be very subtle to catch here. All of them are jignasus. Isn't it? Like that Chandrayaan, when that failed number 2, number 3 को success करने के लिए all scientists have given up all differences. They sat together, they planned out, see, succeeded. Now later on, little gadbad ho gaya, ex and present. Now all ISRO is quiet. As if yesterday they have launched something midnight May. Yeah, day before yesterday. In the same way, we should in life throughout. Jignasu means you want to know. Then karmishta means wanting to do the karma. Karma to kehte hain. The other than jignasa are the ego prompted, wanting to defeat others, discuss or argue with others, disprove others, and nothing to do. I don't want to do. They are never helpful. That is the one more thought you can learn from it. Evam jignasa purvam, with the jignasa in the heart. Honestly, they want to know. This is a beautiful samvada. Like Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade or the Parikshita Shukadeva Samvada, where Someone who knows he wants to teach to others, other want to learn it. What a beautiful feeling, Samvada Purvakam. Here also, Evam Jignasa Purvam, with the Jignasa in the heart, wanting to know very genuinely, Anyonyam Pruchatam. When they were asking each other that way, Koe Mahatma, Kone, what happened suddenly? Ki Atikranta Vishesha Vishaya Shruti Samskara Janita Smriti Ajayat. When they were discussing like that, Smriti Ajayata, some memory came to them. What memory? Where from it came? Samskara Janita Smriti. So they had a samskara, from that the memory came. What is that samskara? Ki atikranta vishesha vishaya shruti. Shruti means they heard. Vishaya means some subject, some matter. Vishesha vishaya means something special. They heard something special, unique, earlier sometime. It entered into them as what do you call, samskara, but they were busy in this or that works. Therefore, that samskara was as a samskara dormant. Now, when they are doing this discussion, that samskara from the unmanifest came to manifest at the mind level as smriti. Yaad aa gaya. Like when you are also doing meditation. Suddenly you remember, Hare, that class, this was discussed regarding this is has to be done for meditation. Isn't it? Suddenly you are doing dhanam. Suddenly remember, in Bhagavatam, it is said that dhanam should be done without ego, any expectation, irrelevant of other person. You must know, you must have only the qualification of need and desirability. चलो इस तरह से कहा दान करने को कर दिया. We have that samskara. If we have the samskara formed while listening, that becomes a smriti at right time. So for them a smriti came out of their samskara, which was born because of the Shravana. And that was something Vishesha, therefore it gathered some importance at that time. But in between busy, therefore they couldn't talk about it. Now the topic has come, therefore they remember. So what is that samskara janita Vishesha Smriti? Is ki tam prapadabhyam prapadyata brahma imam purusham. And there is one Brahman entered this human body. Imam Purusham is to this human body. How did he enter? From Prapadabhyam Prapadyata. From the path of the feet, the Brahma entered, not Brahman. Parabrahmanai, Brahma, Hiranyagarbha. Okay, the conditional Brahma. So tam Prapadabhyam Prapadyata Brahma Imam Purusham. They heard it. They never cared it क्योंकि they were busy in enjoyment, intelligence, outer things or their profession, career. तो जो उसमें मन लगता है ना, इन सब में मन नहीं आता. Like suddenly if you take a project of building a house or a company, suddenly you will give up all the Upanishad study, उसमें busy हो जाते हैं. अब तक सुन रहे थे, but then something overpowered the mind. So they were overpowered that way. Now they remembered कि one Brahma through the pada entered. Prapadabhyam prapadyata Brahma tam etam purusham, to this jiva. We also studied in the beginning of this Upanishad, Simanam Vidarya, at the topic when it came, is there any other path by which also entry can be done? Yeah, there is a Prapada Marga also. But he being the kingly and Raja, he thought, how can I enter through the path by which my servants have entered? Do you remember that thing? He said, no, I'll make a path of my own. Therefore, he just did the Vidaranam of the Simanam. He entered through that. Etaya dvara prapadyata vidyutirnama dvaha. The name of that dwara also is told as Vidruti. क्योंकि विदारण करके. Vidruti means vidarana. Vidarana means separating, breaking and going inside. That one year, these children are remembering, the students are who are discussing that. Even Bhashyakara says. So this introduction, this whole Bhashya of Bhashyakara is a Bhashya too. The mantra in which This sentence is Kataraha. Kataraha sa Atma. The Kataraha means two. Among these two, which? Shruti Mata, among these two, which one is the Atma of which Vamadeva did Upasana? This how it goes. But you and I have to be reminded, told by Bhagavan Adi Shankara, कि two कह रहे हो दो कहाँ से आए? Then he puts it in the story form. When they were questioning like that, then from the past Smriti, they remembered about the presence of two Atmas. One is which entered through the Prapado. पादों से एक एंटर हुआ. ये पादों से enter is a symbolic way of saying कि one who entered through the upadhis, identify the upadhi, etc. Tam prabhadabhyam prapadyata brahma imam purusham. By this what he said, even the upadhis also is Brahman only. But in that upadhi, Rupa Brahma, Parabrahma cannot be realized. Like everywhere Paramatma, but only in the heart he can be realized. Like that. After actually realizing the Bhagavan or the self, everything will be realized as Brahman. But always there is Upalabdhi Paddhati, Upalabdhi Dwara. We must know. Otherwise, when we say the sentence Sarvam Khalu Brahma, then okay, actually knowledge to, but have we experienced it? No. For the sake of experience, particular technique, path, place of finding, we have to find. Having recognized him there, everywhere it is. Mm. So just feel that feeling that I am there with the upadhis, identifying with them. The upadhi identified me as entered from the pada marga. Keep it in mind. Second one is what? Saha. Here, Saha means that Parabrahma Paramatma. Etam eva. Etam eva of this person only. Simanam. Of the Simana Bhagam, it's very clearly told. We discussed about it. Exactly central point, which is called as Sahasrara also. Simanam Vidarya. Etaya Dwara Prapadyata. From that he entered. Then he found three places. Then he identified with that. Then he became Jiva. Then he suffered for a long time. Then he inquired. Then he detached from the Upadhi. Then he realized himself. This all was discussed in our last 90 days or 105 days. This is what we were doing in this Upanishad. So one has entered to the Pada Marga, one has entered to Simana Marga. Okay? The Pada Marga entered is the Upadhis. Simana Marga entered is the only Upadhis, that is, through the Simana who entered is Jiva. Interesting point is what? Before the entry through the Simanam into the body and identifying with the three avasthas and becoming Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti, Purusha, the one who entered, before entering, he is Parabrahma. Therefore, Parabrahma, Jiva Brahma, Upadhi Brahma. So here, the Upadhi Brahma we are identified with all the time. From that we have to come to the Jiva Brahma. Then from this Parabrahma. So Upadhi Brahma detaching is detaching from the Upadhis. Identifying Jiva Brahma is knowing that I am a Jiva. From one life to the other, I am living through each of the body. But this is also not our goal. The Vamadeva ji was already as Jiva inside. Then he did not do the Jiva Brahma Upasana. If he had done that, he would have been continued to be Jiva. Therefore, staying there only, transcending the Jiva Bhava, he did the Upasana of the Parabrahma. Listen carefully. He identified with it, therefore he became liberated. This in another language in Aitareya, what is he said? Ki he is in the Sayesham Hridaya Akasha, Tasmin Nayam, Purusho Manomaya, Amruto Hiranyamaya, अंतरेण तालुके स्तनैवावलम्बते सेन्द्रियोने यत्रासो केशान्तु विवर्तते व्यपोह्य शीर्षकपाले भूरित्यग्नो प्रतिष्ठति. You remember it? The jiva ejected out of the Shirshakapala. Before it, whatever upasana is done, Bhuhu upasana kiya Agnav Pratitishthate. Bhuvaha Vayo. Subha iti Aditya. Maha iti Brahmani. Accordingly, the results also. But apart from the Bhur, Suva, Maha upasanas, there is a fifth upasana also, ki Aham Brahmasmi upasana. If that is done, he would have not gone to the Agni, Vayu, Indra or the Mahatattva or the Hiranyagarbha. He will go to Parabrahma. Keep these things in the mind, intellect. As we become deeper in our study and sadhana, maybe our 5 lives, 6 lives, tab yaakar ye sab yaad aayega. Just like for all these students, what they have heard long back, they remember now. Ki there are 2 atmas with which we have to identify. So, the Upadhi Atma, the Jiva Atma, the Parabrahma Atma. Okay? So, Upadhika Brahma, Jiva Brahma, Parabrahma. Upadhi also from Brahman only. But it is not like in Aitareya we studied so thoroughly. Annamaya Kosha also is Brahman. But it is objective Brahman. We need subjective. That is a crossing all of them. Then really the subjective self through Drashta, Shrota, Manta, Vijnata, we are indicated. We were indicated for the self. So here also, tam prapadabhyam prapadyata brahma imam purusham. 1. Then sah etameva simanam vidarya etaya dvara prapadyata etameva purusham. I know this one person only. From Prapada, one Brahma entered. From the Simana Midarya, the Brahman, the Lord, the Ishvara entered. Now, Atra, therefore, in this body now, Dve Brahmani, there are 2 Brahmans, therefore. This is how the analysis done. And then they are what? Itaretara Pratikulyena Pratipanne. They are not Anukula, they are Pratikula. They are not exactly the same, they are opposite to each other. Okay. One is Upadhi, the knower, the known, owned, etc. Another one is the Jiva Bhava, who is the knower and the owner. It is known and owned, this is knower and owner. Be attentive. Teja Asya Pindasya Atma Mute. Both of them are the Atma in this Pinda only. Upadhis as well as the Jiva, who is conscious. Upadhis are Jada, please. We are talking about the Brahman entered as the Indriya, Mana, Buddhyadi, Upadhi, which is Jada. वो भी ब्रह्म ही है, ब्रह्म ही है वो भी. Second one is the Jiva Bhuta. So, तयोः अन्यतरः आत्मा उपास्य भवि tam bhavitum arhati. So, among these 2, first level में we have to do the upasana of one, reject the other. Okay? So, actually here the upasana levels are 2. In the first upasana, rejecting that upadhi and doing the upasana of the jiva is first one. That's what we have already studied many times in our different texts. From dehoham to, we have to come to jivoham. Then only atmaham or brahmaham. So first upasana is naham devasmi jivosmi. Thereafter naham jivosmi brahmasmi. So here they are in the first discussion of among these 2 which is to be done upasana. तो देन दे कम टू अ कंक्लूजन कि जीव का उपासना करना है. देन लेटर ऑन दे नो भाई यही तो हम ऑलरेडी हैं, इसी में फंसे हुए हैं. इवन दिस इज ऑल्सो नॉट टू मी इन ए सटल मैनर. द अहम जीवोस्मि इज बिकॉज ऑफ द आइडेंटिटी विद उपाधि ओनली. But we don't realize that we are behaving like Jiva by identifying the Upadhi because we are so much identified with them. Now, inquiry is happening. Like when I identify with medicine and do a doctorly work, is different from I become aware that I am a doctor because of my medical knowledge. So when I become aware that I am a doctor because of my medical knowledge, I am at the Jiva level. I become a doctor and operate, I am at the Upadhi level as a medical doctor. So, yatra upasya kah sah atma iti vishesha nirdharanartham punah anyonyam paprachuhu vicharayanta. So, to specifically do the decision and upasana of the either of the Atma, they went again for the next inquiry. Then, पुनः तेषां विचारयतां विशेष विचारण आस्पद विषयामति अमूतु. One more next level of understanding they came to again when they decided about these two Atman. The Jiva Atma has to be worshipped or Upasana should be done. फिर से इंक्वायरी किया. So then the third one, the real Paramatma also came to their understanding. Then this is what is to be Upasana to be done of. But that is again non-seeable. Okay. Then how to comprehend it is its own expressions that will be told in our second and third mantras. Okay. Through the meaning of the words there, we pierce through the expressed or pierce through the expression and reach to the expressed. Go beyond the expression, reach the express. Like the expression is I am a speaker. Express do is the self in me. So in that way, through the expression, reaching the expressed will be discussed in our second and third mantra. So the first level of their discussion was Koyamatma. In that Kataraha. In that Katara, the two were the Upadhi and the Jivatma. They came to Jivatma as Atman. Again, they went to discuss. Then the second level of understanding came to them. Even Jivatma is suffering, you and I, by transmigration, compulsions, etc. etc. So then what is that? Vamadeva might have not done the upasana of this. Because इससे उनको मोक्ष नहीं होता. क्यों? We are already at that level. We are already bound. We are again bound only. So then this is the meaning of Punah Tesham Vicharayatam Vishesha Vicharanaspad Vishya Mati Abhutu. Katham again. Dve Vastuni Asmin Pinde Upalabhete. Now the Sharira is kept aside, or the Upadhis. Now from the I standpoint also, two things they have found. Two eyes. One is continuously changing depending on the Upadhis which he is using as smeller, taster, toucher. This other one who is having the common experience that all of that is me. See the beautiful discussion here. Then we can't do the upasana of the that continuously changing individuality which is acting differently depending on the upadhis which is using. Then what is that which is bringing all these experiences together and claiming it as I, and itself actually is not going through any one of them. Let us do the upasana of that. I think this must be the thing of which Vamadeva did upasana and he might have got the Amrita Samabhavatu. So these are the few things in this next era will be discussed. Then that self will be indicated through all expressions as we just now said and directed through the expressions it is indicated and our attention is directed towards it. In that final and final point, what it is decisively told is that is prajnanam. That prajnanam alone is Brahman. Of him we have to do the upasana of identifying with for amrutanubhuti like Vamadeva and all those Guru Parampara who realized. So the upadhis, Jiva and Paramatma. उपाधि तादाद में छोड़ने से बहुत सारा जो स्लेवरी दूर हो जाता है. जीव भाव को छोड़ने से सारा संसार राग द्वेष goes away. Brahmanubhava, when we get it, we are in that infinite bliss. So next 2, 3, 4 days, these beautiful things we discuss as said in this Upanishad and the Bhashya. Om, 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 Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramarashibhyo Parabrahmane Shruti Matre Shri Aitareya Upanishada Acharyebhyo Namaha. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you. Taking the help of example of Vamadeva ji, understanding from him and his autobiography as if that he has done the upasana of the Shuddha Parabrahma, when we also just keep on doing it, to the extent we succeed in it, we come out of Dehosmi Jivosmi and the Ham Brahmasmi reality is realized. Interesting thing, when we start doing it, within few lives we'll be able to achieve. We don't start doing for millions of lives, will only suffer as a jiva. Like any barren land uncultivated. Leave it like that, it remains so for thousands of years. But then उसको थोड़ा जोत कर if you put the seeds and all, or make a building or anything, वो बन जाता है वहाँ. कभी नहीं किया तो कभी नहीं होता. Like you people and your own other friends, family members. You went on coming, starting with first day of first coming. We kept on doing it now. So many books you have studied so far. The others never started even one day. So they are there only. Regarding our class, I'm talking. They might be doing other works which are really good or important or great. It's okay. But upon apne classes ke dushti se, never started means never starts. If you start, it starts. If you go on doing, it gets done. If you keep on doing till reaching, we reach one day. So, by this and by also Sri Rama's final Upadesha in the Adhyatma Ramayana and more than this too, from the Rubu Gita, what we can imagine that the hint that is given to us is start practically doing the Atma Upasana, Brahma Upasana. Good, you are now qualified. Sufficiently, you are studying the Shastras. Continue it, but you are now matured to do the Atma Upasana. We can take it as this way the Shruti Mata, Guru Parampara, Paramatma are hinting to us through this portion of this Upanishad. अध्यात्म रामायण राम जी कहते हैं ना see the self in all. So to the Rupa Gita is talking yesterday how beautiful it was. 1, 2, 3, 4 prasangas we saw of how the Atma or Brahma Upasana is done, in which both Anvaya Vyatireka are taught to us. Okay, thank you.